Hi, I'm August Keller, and this is my review of Weapons. So, this movie's really popular right now. It's really having a moment, and I think some people might see the score as a little lower than the general consensus. And, I don't like being the bad guy, but I have to call it like I see it, and this is a score I think is fair. So, let me explain why. Despite a middling reveal, Weapons does build a lot of natural drama from a tense premise. So, I do like this movie. I do think it's a good movie. I just think, there are pieces of it that I think work really, really well, and then there are pieces that I think kind of don't work as well, or kind of feel more average. Its plot starts with an exposition dump, which I'm not a fan of, but I understand that it's an efficient way to get it set the premise up. And then it starts constructing a lot of setup payoff, which is very satisfying. The characters really drive the story, which I think is the best part of the movie. There's a lot of layered dialogue and layered interactions. When characters are doing something, you can see the surface and you can see what the meaning underneath. And all this really sets up a lot of motivations, a lot of flaws. Every character is flawed, and clear personalities. And they're very distinct from one another. All the characters feel different. I think the themes are kind of questionable in how they solidify. I think it kind of introduces a lot of ideas and doesn't really kind of come together and give me like a firm message. But it does touch on ideas like boundaries and witch hunts, grief, perspective, addiction is a running thread, and exploitation, I think, is where it kind of ends up being about, which again, I'm not sure what it's trying to say about these things, but it's definitely considering these ideas intentionally. I think the third act kind of stumbles because, the mystery kind of goes away. We start to know what's happening, and that kind of, for me, takes a lot of steam out of the engine. And also, I found that ending to have a lack of resolution, which, I think it's doing that intentionally too, like kind of just give it some kind of like creepier vibe to it. But because it set up the drama so well in the beginning, I was kind of looking for more resolution to that drama in the end, and I kind of felt that is where it's lacking, and I felt myself wanting a little more. But yeah, all that is to say, the third act, it does stumble for me, but it is very unpredictable, which is nice. I didn't know where it was going to go, and some of the places it goes is pretty interesting and unexpected and exciting. The performances provide a lot of range, a lot of charismatic range. Like I said, every character feels different, and some of them are very, very flavorful. The performances, and there's a lot of good chemistry too between the characters, between the actors. So the acting, I was very much a fan of. And also, there's this very distinct sense of humor throughout the movie, where it's kind of like dark humor, but like playfully dark. So yeah, all that is to say that I think Weapons has very impressive pieces to its story. Technically, I think Weapons establishes a very polarizing tone that sometimes clashes and sometimes, but also frequently accentuates the engagement. So for me, the tone, I think within a single viewer, the tone can polarize. Like sometimes I feel like it doesn't work. Like it does like a comedy, it has like this comedy sprinkled throughout. And sometimes, for me, that comedy, sometimes it works, and sometimes it distracts. And when it works, it's really great. It really accentuates and it heightens everything, and makes everything feel unique. And then other times, I feel like it's just kind of like muddling things. The cinematography has a lot of shallow focus and these like long tracking shots, which are cool. It has some interesting lighting, angles, things like that, but I think the most noticeable aspects were the focus and the tracking shots. The editing kind of defines the film because it does these like non-linear chapters that are each from a different character's perspective, and that really maintains suspense well. It does a good job of like building momentum and then restarting and like kind of constantly keeping the tension high. The sound has I found it to be a very quiet and intimate movie from the soundscape as perspective. And it also has like these smash cuts and these subjective distortions that really contrast with that quiet. So that was really nice. The music I found to be fairly eclectic. The production design conveys like a small town suburbia, which I think is also thematic. The cast has agreeable fame and up and comers and skill. I don't know if it has like a true bona fide star, but it has a lot of nice aspects to the cast. The effects are pretty minimal, I would say, for the most part, but there are points when it erupts with like really graphic gore, and most of it's tangible, so that's really cool. Um, so yeah, overall, Weapons is promising. Even if I don't think it really maximizes its potential. I think a lot of people are excited because it really shows a lot of potential. And I don't know if personally I don't know if it delivers on everything. Like I said, I think the third act kind of stumbles, but it's a very good movie, and I think I can see like a really great movie in here, and I think that's what a lot of other people are seeing. I personally don't think it comes together as a great movie, and I do think this director, this writer director, Cregger's, I think he's definitely got a lot of potential, and I really like how he's this movie and Barbarian. He seems to be showing a lot of creativity, and he's really trying to like do unique things with the genre, and I think he's really on to something, and I hope he gets there. I don't think this movie quite gets to all the way to optimizing what he's trying to do, but I think he's really close to something special. So anyways, it's a good movie. I liked it. I didn't love it like other people seem to love it, but yeah, I don't think it's a movie. I don't think it's necessarily a must-see, but I do think it's a good movie, and it's something worth seeing if you feel like it. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. If you like what I'm doing here, please feel free to like and subscribe. I also have an Instagram linked in the description. I'd love support there or here. But at the very least, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye.